In the largest world of Qi, as the Venom Demon Emperor dissipated between heaven and earth, Xiao Heavenly God and the others, far away, couldn't help but feel joy on their faces. After all, the Venom Demon Emperor had always been a potential hidden threat to the Xiao clan, and now that this threat had vanished, it could only be considered a good thing. In midair, Xiao Yan, standing still, gazed at the dimensional rift in the sky. With a thought, the rift began to close by itself. The Heavenly Emperor, standing before the rift, looked at Xiao Yan below in confusion, unable to understand what this young man was trying to accomplish. At this moment, countless powerful beings in the world looked at the black-robed man floating in midair. They were all eager to know his purpose. As everyone focused on Xiao Yan, he slowly swept his gaze across the vast expanse. The warriors of the other clans thought Xiao Yan was observing them, but they had no idea that what Xiao Yan was doing was beyond their imagination. In the next few moments, all the positions and numbers of the sealed evil demons in the entire dimension were etched into Xiao Yan's mind. 1 Earth Sovereign-level evil demon, 12 Emperor-level evil demons, and several hundred King-level evil demons. After counting the number of evil demons, Xiao Yan murmured to himself. He knew that these evil demons were far more numerous than this. However, over the years, due to the relentless extermination by the Heavenly Emperor and others, most of the evil demons had been wiped out. As for the Earth Sovereign, the Heavenly Emperor had always been too afraid to move against it. After all, the Heavenly Emperor was only a 7-star Do-D, while the Earth Sovereign was a terrifying existence comparable to the Earth Supreme. Even though it was sealed and its strength had dropped to less than 1/10 of its peak, it could still easily crush the Heavenly Emperor. Xiao Yan sighed. Since the remaining ones were difficult to deal with, he would take care of them himself. However, in order to avoid causing a commotion, Xiao Yan expanded his voice so that all the powerful beings across the world could hear him. I believe many of you are wondering about my arrival. Let me directly tell you some things. In ancient times, the Qi world was a super world several times larger than this one. Back then, the Qi continent had 10 supercontinents, but due to some unexpected events, the entire Qi world was split into hundreds of fragment worlds. The world you are in now is the largest of these fragment worlds, and the largest continent within this world is only one of the 10 continents from back then. Boom! As Xiao Yan's words spread, the entire world seemed to explode like triggered dynamite, sending shockwaves through everyone's hearts. Even the Heavenly Emperor, who was millions of miles above, gazed at Xiao Yan in disbelief. If what Xiao Yan said was true, then this revelation was too terrifying. The reason Xiao Yan revealed this was because he believed that the powerful beings in the Qi world were likely much stronger than those in the world he had come from. I come from another fragment world. Many of you may not sense Qi on me, and that's because there exists a world thousands of times larger than the ancient Qi continent. When we cultivate Qi in that world, it is assimilated by the world's power, which is far superior to Qi. So when we return to the Qi world, we are no longer affected by its energy. Moreover, apart from that massive world, there is another world that can contend with it, the extraterritorial world. The evil demons who attacked this Qi world hundreds of years ago came from that extraterritorial world, while the powerful beings who aided this world came from the Great Thousand Worlds, a super world. I don't have time to explain everything to you, nor do I intend to explain to other worlds. However, what I must do now is eradicate all the sealed evil demons in this Qi world. I ask that you do not interfere. Though I control this world, if something goes wrong, innocent lives may be lost. As Xiao Yan's words fell, the entire world fell into silence. Everyone stared at him in shock. His description was so astonishing that even the Do-D powerhouses were taken aback, while the lower-ranked Do-Sheng powerhouses felt their worldviews begin to collapse. It turned out that the world they lived in wasn't just a small world. It was a fragment of a small world. In the primordial divine domain of the Great Thousand Worlds, there is a forbidden continent belonging to the primordial divine clan. This vast land stretches for tens of thousands of miles, and it is split in half by a super mountain range known as the Divine Ancestor Mountain Range. The reason this land is forbidden is because, according to legend, A fossilized divine ancestor from the primordial era has been alive here ever since. In the presence of such an existence, even a heavenly supreme at the peak would only have the right to bow their head. This terrifying entity is none other than the supreme divine ancestor of the primordial divine clan, the primordial divine ancestor. At this moment, deep within the divine ancestor mountain range, in a vast square called the divine clan Heavenly Terrace, 5 massive pillars stand tall. 4 of them are aligned side by side, and on top of each of these 4 pillars sits a figure. They are the 4 clan leaders of the primordial divine clan, and among them is a familiar face to Lindong, Xun'er. However, now, all 4 of these clan leaders, who have reached the peak of Heavenly Supreme, have gathered their spirits and are staring ahead. Before them stands another massive pillar, which appears somewhat illusory. On top of this pillar, there is a mirror. Divine Ancestor, you summoned us here. What is it that you wish to discuss? Xun'er spoke first, addressing the heavens themselves. Xun'er, I initially thought it unnecessary to call for all of you, but to prevent unforeseen circumstances in the future, I feel it is necessary to share certain matters with you. A voice echoed across the sky, its source indiscernible. If it is something that concerns the divine ancestor, then it surely cannot be trivial. Please speak. We shall remember your words, an elder beside Xun'er said. Our primordial divine clan has had a divine flame called the refined fire since the primordial era. According to the rules of the Great Thousand Worlds, no one outside our clan is allowed to refine this flame. The ancient voice continued. The divine ancestor is suggesting that someone is attempting to secretly refine our clan's divine fire? Upon hearing this, everyone's expressions changed. This divine flame was tied to some very important matters within the clan. However, the next words of the divine ancestor made all their eyes widen in shock. From this day forward, this rule is hereby abolished. The divine ancestor's words were undoubtedly a shock to all. The 4 clan leaders, including Xun'er, were utterly stunned. They exchanged looks, clearly in disbelief, but they quickly regained their composure. They knew that anything spoken by the divine ancestor was as binding as the law itself. After all, in the vast world of the Great Thousand, there were only 2 entities whose words could alter the rules, and one of them was the divine ancestor of the primordial divine clan. Divine ancestor, your decision seems a bit abrupt. Could you tell us the reason? After all, we are quite curious. A middle-aged man hesitated before asking. Of course. Look into the mirror. The divine ancestor's voice resounded once again. Hearing this, the 4 clan leaders hurriedly turned their gaze toward the smooth mirror atop the massive pillar ahead of them. The mirror began to float and emitted a faint glow, a light that seemed to blend the past and future, creating an indescribable sensation. The mirror then began to enlarge, quickly turning into a massive screen nearly 1,000 feet tall. On this screen, a blurry scene began to appear. It showed a dark region, within which hundreds of worlds of varying sizes floated. Upon seeing this, Xun'er and the others, relying on their millennia of experience, immediately deduced 2 pieces of information. First, this was an area within a lower dimension. Second, the edges of these worlds aligned with high precision, indicating that they were once part of the same whole. Such was the keen eyesight of those at the peak of Heavenly Supreme. Whoosh! The image in front of them rapidly zoomed in. The 4 saw the largest of these worlds, and within it, a figure appeared. Seeing this person, Xun'er froze in place. It's him. Although Xun'er had never met this person in person, his intuition told him who it was. This person's power has reached the early stage of Earth Supreme, and he is the Lord of a dimension. His level of control is extremely close to the 3rd level of dimension fusion. An elderly man, his face yellowed with age, remarked as he looked at the figure in the light screen. To someone of his level, even a dimension embryo could be crushed with a single strike. Who is he? Another elder noticed the shock on Xun'er's face and directly asked. Xiao Yan, Xun'er answered. Ah, I've heard of him. He seems to have some connection with the primordial ancient dragon clan. There's been no news of him in recent years. So, he went to a lower dimension. Haha, He's indeed a person of exceptional talent. If placed among the younger generation of our 4 clans, he could barely be considered in the top 10, the elder replied with a faint smile. But compared to Xun'er of the Futu clan and Xun'er of the Imoku clan, he's still a level behind. I think he's not far behind Xun'er and the others. Xiao Yan shook his head and said, I've looked into his background. When he first entered the Great Thousand Worlds, he was only at the 6th grade supreme level. Old Xian, you're being short-sighted. There are countless monstrous talents in the Great Thousand Worlds, and those who have reached the Earth's supreme level at such a young age number at least in the hundreds. Even if this person controls the dimension embryo, his power still wouldn't be enough to break into the top 30 of the younger generation in the Great Thousand Worlds. As for Xun'er and the others, they are all top 5 existences. The elderly man spoke, completely disregarding the possibility of any incredibly powerful young hidden figures in the Great Thousand Worlds. He knew this was impossible because the rankings had been continually modified by the Divine Ancestor and another supreme existence. Only the 4 of them, along with the clan leaders of the True Dragon and True Phoenix clans, were fully aware of this. Figures like the Divine Ancestor could detect even the slightest tilt of every grain of sand in the Great Thousand Worlds. To evade such detection, one would have to reach a level equivalent to the Divine Ancestors. They knew well what kind of being the Divine Ancestor was, and at that level, cultivating itself became insignificant and meaningless. Heh, you think what I said is unreasonable, right? Then why do you think the Divine Ancestor wanted us to pay attention to this person? Xiao Yan smiled in response to the elder's question. You must know, in the past 1,000 years of the Great Thousand Worlds, only 7 young talents have been mentioned by the Divine Ancestor. 4 of them come from the 4 great ancient divine clans, and among the remaining 3, one is the Sword Saint Lu Feng from the Sword Domain, and one is the Martial Ancestor from the Wandering Realm. The 7th person is today's Xiao Yan. If we were to call him by his title, Flame Emperor would be more fitting. Ha ha ha, the proud leader of the Futu Divine Clan is addressing a junior by title? You can just call him by his name, another man said. He was Imoku, the leader of the Imoku clan. He looked at Xiao Yan with a gleam in his eyes. Old Xian, it seems you know something we don't. Are you not willing to share? I did learn some things from the Divine Ancestor, but due to the rules, I cannot speak of them. Apologies, Xiao Yan replied calmly. Let's just see what the Divine Ancestor wants to show us, Imoku said, not surprised by Xiao Yan's refusal. He understood that some matters were directly revealed to Xiao Yan by the Divine Ancestor. If the Divine Ancestor hadn't revealed them to him, it meant these matters were either not for him to know or unnecessary for him to know. The 4 clan leaders of the ancient divine clans continued to observe the scene unfolding in the light screen. In the massive light screen, Xiao Yan hovered high in the air. At this moment, he became the focal point of that dimension. Then, they saw him raise his hand, and at that moment, the entire dimension was under his control. For the 4 clan leaders of the ancient divine clans, this wasn't particularly surprising, as they knew the Dimension Lord could do such things. Soon after, Xiao Yan and the others saw black beams of light shooting up from various parts of the Douqi world. In those black beams, they saw something that made their pupils shrink: ancient divine towers. How could the Futu Divine Clan's clan-protecting divine artifact appear in this lower dimension world? Dozens of ancient divine towers rose from various places in the Douqi world, with refined flame golden dragons ascending from them. Most of the towers had only a few dozen dragons, but 4 towers were particularly striking. These 4 had over 200 golden dragons ascending from them, and on the largest tower, nearly 1,000 golden dragons soared. Futu Divine Tower? Refining fire? An elder from one of the clans exclaimed in surprise. Does the Divine Ancestor's abolition of the rules have something to do with this person? Is he going to refine our clan's divine flame? Old Xian, the Futu Divine Tower technique can only be passed down within your clan to inner disciples, right? Imoku asked, looking at the light screen. The one who set up these divine towers must have reached the Earth's supreme level, and within the clan, he would be considered a mid-level elder, Xiao Yan replied, still watching the light screen. The aura emanating from the towers was the same, clearly originating from one person. Judging by the signs, it was evident that the arrangement of these refined flame golden dragons hadn't taken more than 500 years. Within the last few hundred years, nearly 100 mid-level elders from the lower dimension worlds and the Great Thousand Worlds have frequently entered and exited. I will inquire with the Elder Hall after this. Divine Ancestor, may I ask, was this rule abolished for his sake? Imoku asked in astonishment, looking towards the heavens. After all, Xiao Yan was merely an Earth Supreme. Could the ancient divine clans, with their hundreds of heavenly supremes, really abolish a rule just for this one Earth Supreme? It is indeed so. The voice of the Divine Ancestor rang out. In the Great Thousand Worlds, there are 12 great paths. That sounds like something the sacred drum, Heavenly Sovereign, said thousands of years ago. An elder remarked. Indeed. The fall of the sacred drum, Heavenly Sovereign, was beyond the expectations of both me and the ancestor of 10,000 spirits. Surpassing the Heavenly Supreme. If such a being truly existed, the Great Thousand Worlds wouldn't have been left to battle the evil creatures to a stalemate during the world-destroying war. Emohi Luo snorted coldly and said, if the sacred drum Heavenly Sovereign had become the Heavenly Supreme back then, the Great Thousand Worlds would have had 4 existences comparable to the Lesser Dominator stage. With the added advantage of geographical positioning, the extraterritorial evil clan would likely have been forced to flee. Let's not dwell on the past. The reason I called you here today is actually related to the 12 great paths, the Divine Ancestor said. Oh? Are you saying that Xiao Yan is connected to the 12 great paths? Qingyan Xian asked, his brow furrowing. Could it be the path of flame spirits? The path of flame spirits? If we look across the entire Great Thousand Worlds, only the Fire Spirit clan could possibly reach the path of flame spirits. Could he actually walk it? Hearing the words of the Divine Ancestor and Qingyan Xian, the 3 clan leaders, Emohi Luo and the others, finally began to pay attention to Xiao Yan. The Fire Spirit clan is indeed the most likely to reach the path of flame spirits in the Great Thousand Worlds. Tens of thousands of years ago, the Fire Spirit Heavenly Sovereign was the closest person to that path. Unfortunately, he could not take that final step. If he had succeeded, today, aside from the Primordial Divine Clan and the 10,000 Spirits Divine Clan, the Fire Spirit Clan would likely have been the 3rd dominant force in the Great Thousand Worlds, Qingyan Xian said. During the world-destroying war tens of thousands of years ago, the Fire Spirit Heavenly Sovereign was one of the 10 greatest powerhouses. That kind of force was not much weaker than any of us clan leaders. Unfortunately, the Fire Spirit Heavenly Sovereign perished, and after that, the Fire Spirit clan gradually declined. However, even in its weakened state, the Fire Spirit clan still has a dozen Heavenly Supremes. In the Great Thousand Worlds, it is still one of the top 15 superpowers. Do you know why the Fire Spirit Heavenly Sovereign could not take that final step? The Divine Ancestor asked. The 4 clan leaders shook their heads. They were unable to touch that level, so they couldn't understand what was needed to reach that stage. The Fire Spirit clan has a clan-guarding secret art called the Flame Scripture, which all members of the clan can cultivate, the Divine Ancestor said. This is strange, Emohi Luo said, confused. If it's a clan-guarding martial art, how could it be practiced by all the clan members, from the youngest to the oldest, with billions of people cultivating it at the same time? I've heard that the Flame Scripture requires the power of the Fire Spirit clan's spirit veins to be properly cultivated. Ordinary veins can only help someone reach the surface level, while earth veins allow one to learn some inner serenity. Only those with heavenly veins can penetrate the core. But to master it fully, one must possess a divine vein talent. The Fire Spirit Heavenly Sovereign from tens of thousands of years ago was said to have possessed a Fire Spirit divine vein. An elder spoke up. Does the Divine Ancestor mean to say that the Flame Scripture is connected to the path of flame spirits? Correct, the Divine Ancestor replied. In that case, the Fire Spirit Heavenly Sovereign, who possessed the divine vein, should have already comprehended the entire Flame Scripture. So why didn't he reach that level? Emohi Luo asked. The Flame Scripture of the Fire Spirit clan is incomplete, the Divine Ancestor said. The 4 clan leaders were all shocked. They had never heard of this before. I've once calculated this matter. The Flame Scripture actually consists of the Flame Mastery chapter, Flame Fusion chapter, Flame Transformation chapter, and Flame Creation chapter. What the Fire Spirit clan is missing is the Flame Fusion chapter, and it's the most crucial one among the 4 chapters, the Divine Ancestor explained. In the Fire Spirit clan, only those with heavenly veins can study these 4 chapters. In the past 100,000 years, only 6 people have been able to study 2 or 3 chapters simultaneously, and only the Fire Spirit Heavenly Sovereign from tens of thousands of years ago was able to master all 3 chapters. But even then, the Fire Spirit Heavenly Sovereign still didn't possess the Flame Fusion chapter. If he had obtained it, he might have reached the same level as me. The 4 clan leaders were all astounded. They had never heard of these matters before, and even the fact that the Flame Scripture was divided into 4 chapters was news to them. Now that the Divine Ancestor mentions it, I recall a rumor, Emohi Luo said. It's said that Xiao Yan controls dozens of powerful flames, and these flames do not conflict with each other within his body. Could it be that this mysterious ability of his is due to his possession of the Flame Fusion chapter that the Fire Spirit clan lacks? Xiao Yan indeed possesses the Flame Fusion chapter, but if that were all, the Fire Spirit clan would have obtained it long ago. Several thousand years ago, the ancestor of the Fire Spirit clan subdued a divine flame in the Great Thousand Worlds, and that divine flame grew stronger by devouring other flames. This ability is almost identical to that of the Flame Fusion chapter. Then, what does that have to do with this kid named Xiao Yan? Emohi Luo chuckled. The Fire Spirit clan had now acquired the complete version of the Flame Scripture. Next, they just had to wait for a true genius to emerge from within the clan. One who could simultaneously comprehend all 4 chapters of the Flame Scripture. Only then would the Fire Spirit clan truly rise. Although the addition of a super overlord, the Primordial Divine Clan, and the 10,000 Spirits Divine Clan would be unwelcome, it was the only way to fend off the next invasion of the extraterritorial evil clan. I have used rule modification to look into the future of the Fire Spirit clan's younger generation. At least for the next few thousand years, no one like that will be born, the Divine Ancestor said. A few thousand years will pass in the blink of an eye. The Fire Spirit clan can afford to wait 1 or even 10,000 years, Emohi Luo replied. But the extraterritorial world cannot wait, the Divine Ancestor said. The 4 clan leaders' expressions changed slightly. The Divine Ancestor continued, although these matters cannot be calculated, I once went to the lesser 1,000 worlds with the ancestor of 10,000 spirits. We persuaded the 2 of them to help us. Only by combining the efforts of the 4 of us did we catch a glimpse of the future. Lesser 1,000 worlds. Upon hearing the Divine Ancestor's words, the 4 clan leaders were slightly taken aback. However, they didn't dare to ask the Divine Ancestor directly and could only murmur in their hearts, though the Divine Ancestor still heard them. That legendary world,